Hey, Phil from the future here. Round 2 is the recommended round for this league, but it is long, so buckle up. Enjoy the show. Hello folks, Phil Gallagher of ThrabenU here for another Legacy video. Today's video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, and we'll take a look at them after round 1. Today we're going to be playing some Soul Sisters, courtesy of Matt H, who sent in this deck list. In case you're not familiar with the overall archetype, which has spanned many formats, Soul Warden and Soul's Attendant are the sisters of this deck list. And whenever a creature enters the battlefield, you get to gain a life. And there are also a handful of other creatures that have this same effect. Generally speaking, what we're looking to do is create a large number of life gain triggers that cause us to have a beneficial effect, usually putting a +1/+1 counter on a creature. So we are going to have cards like Ajani's Pridemate, Voice of the Blessed, which is kind of like a powered up version of that, and Karlov of the Ghost Council, which is normally relegated to the EDH tables. Now, this one, notably, when you gain life, you do get 2 +1/+1 counters on it. It does come with the downside of being legendary, though, so if our opponent has a Caracas, this is going to look a lot worse. And then you're going to see some cards that you might have seen in various Walking Ballista combo decks, like Heliod Sun Crowned, which can give your very large creatures lifelink, and, also serve to continue to pump up your creatures, as well as Vito, Thorn of the Dusk Rose, so that when you gain life, your opponent loses that much life. And though you're probably not getting to 5 mana to give all your stuff lifelink, it could happen. Hey, by the way, we're a Yorion deck. I don't know if you noticed that, but there's now enough Soul Sister effects and enough payoff cards that you can somewhat reasonably go and attempt to play a Yorion deck list. Now, I'm not sure if this is better than just playing a nice, tight deck list, but here's the thing about the Yorion. Most of these things have ETB triggers, right? So if you do pull off the Yorion and blink a whole bunch of stuff, it could get pretty gross. One other card that I want to highlight here that doesn't really see much legacy play is Ajani Strength of the Pride. It can essentially minus to make an Ajani Pridemate token, and you can plus it to gain life equal to the number of creatures you control plus the number of planeswalkers you control. It does have another ability. If you have at least 15 more life than your starting life total, exile this thing and each artifact and creature your opponents control. And that is a 0 ability. So if you have a large life total and your opponent, I don't know, has 2 Murktide Regents over there, you can just go, oh, nope, and just boop, they're gone. Which is pretty cool. I played a decent amount of this card in Historic a while back. As far as the sideboard goes, the only really spicy thing is probably Angel's Grace. You can't lose the game this turn, and your opponents can't win the game this turn. Until end of turn, damage that would reduce your life total to less than 1 reduces it to 1 instead. I'm not sure that this is actually worth a slot, but given how much life gain we have, if we get another turn, we might gain 5 to 10 life in some of those turn cycles. Or, maybe one more turn is enough for one of these large creatures to just smack in and finish off the game. But let's just kind of see how it plays. Soul Sisters is just generically one of my favorite archetypes. I find this super fun. I think it's more fun to play online than in paper, because online all the triggers are handled for you, and oh buddy, are we gonna have triggers with this deck list. I am looking forward to see Voice of the Blessed in action. If it has 4 or more counters, it gets flying and vigilance, which is kind of huge. And if we get to 10, I feel like we fill the bingo card and I deserve a prize. Because 10 counters would be an indestructible flying vigilant creature. Eat your heart out, Murktide Regent. Alright, let's go ahead and jump into the league. If you're new here and you like what you see, please consider subscribing. And if you're a regular, please throw me a like before this video begins. It's one of the easiest ways to support my content for free. Oh, by the way, there's a handful of just extra fetch lands and stuff that didn't quite make it onto the screen, but this looked pretty and I liked the layout. Alright, enough talk. Let's gain some life. Alright, round 1 opening hand has no lands. That is an auto mulligan. This one looks pretty good. This is going to be a keep. I'm just going to throw back the 3-drop here. and call that good. I'll leave the extra land in my deck for a little while and start on a Soul's Attendant. I'm kind of thinking about fetching on turn 1 just because, like, I have run into a very large amount of Stifle randomly in the last couple of days. So when I get Stifled on turn 2, we can all have a laugh about it. Oh shit. That's not good. That's not good. Alright. How do I beat the Grizzlebrand? Probably by creating a very large flyer? Probably by creating a very large flyer. I need to take myself off of black here, unfortunately. Let's play a Voice of the Blessed. Always yes. Always yield. Always yield. And this is why I like playing this sort of thing on Magic Online more than in paper. Because there are some triggers to keep track of. I'd love to draw a land next turn so that I can play multiple creatures here. The good news is that when Grizzlebrand enters the battlefield, I'll gain a life. Bad news is my opponent will have a Grizzlebrand. Alright, so I've got a 4/4. It'll get flying at 4+1/+1 counters, which is somewhat likely to happen next turn. Although I might just be effectively dead. I do not expect to win versus Reanimator, just generally speaking. I've got like 2 surgical extractions. Let's see how bad this is. There could be an Alesh Norn in the main deck. Could just be an Archon of Cruelty. Yeah, it is an Archon of Cruelty. Alright, there's the Animate Dead. Alright. Gain some life. I probably have to junk my Attendant here, keeping the large thing. And then try to keep these things that can help it scale up. My deck is doing a thing that is powerful. Like, I have a 5/5 on turn 2. But, you know. Okay. My opponent is just going to make another Archon of Cruelty. At that point, I am comfortable conceding. That's fine. Yeah, so I have 2 surgical extractions, 2 rest in peace, and I'll probably play Swords to Plowshares as well. Just something that helps to interact with these creatures. I'll be cutting some of my slower stuff here. Actually, Skyclave Apparition only has very niche uses. Like, I can get rid of an Animate Dead, but I don't know that that's better than any of this stuff. Really, really don't like my odds versus combo. I want to be playing versus fair stuff. Like, this is a very reasonable hand of Magic the Gathering cards that I just don't think is objectively strong enough versus this deck. This hand certainly isn't. This is the best hand so far, because it has a piece of interaction. Expensive card goes back, and probably Silent Clearing goes back. Alright, here's to hoping that Thoughtseize buys me enough time to do something cool. So, if I take Faithless Looting, my opponent has no plays for a very long time. That is probably my line. My opponent is now on 4 cards, so they are either going to need to draw 3 more cards so that they can hard discard, or get to 3 mana for Faithless Looting. I think I'm okay with where things are at. My sequencing is really awkward here. I am just going to go ahead and play this turn, play the Pridemate next turn. Like, playing the Pridemate now is more damage in the short term, and like better mana usage. But I think I just need this in play to start meaningfully scaling up my cards. And if I were to lose a card to discard, I would rather have the thing that gains life. All right, fantastic. Let's grab a Plains, play a Pridemate, and now we yield to some triggers. This also gives me a +1/+1 counter. And I'll repeat that process using the Mother of Runes. Yeah, you can entomb. That's real bad for me. The opponent has a Grizzlebrand, and they're at 19 life. Yeah, life's pretty bad. So I know my opponent can put it into play because they have a piece of discard. And now they get to exhume. I'll make my threats bigger, which is nice. But it's not like I have lethal damage next turn unless my opponent draws 14. Okay. So they are convinced that they can just effectively win the game this turn. And they can. If they put a Sarah's Emissary into play. I basically can't beat that. I have like 2 Swords to Plowshares as outs. Okay, air quotes, it's just some Archon of Cruelties. Okay, there's a Grief. I don't really understand why my opponent... Oh, they must be targeting themselves. No, they just targeted me. They just made my creature bigger and gave me life for no reason. Unless they're just gonna like fucking grape shot me. Okay. Oh, I see. They wanted to kill themselves. Very nice. Okay, I mean, we got a game versus Reanimator. I'm super happy about that. Although, my opponent probably just punted by drawing 14. I don't know their math well enough to know, like, what is and isn't correct. Yep. Let's go ahead and try again. Let's just have a surgical in my opener. Oh shit, it's a surgical in my opener. My hand's very good. My opponent's mulliganing aggressively, too. Means that my blowout has a better chance of actually happening. Opponent goes to 4. Soul Warden into Pridemate with surgical backup and Swords to Plowshares for a creature that gets in the way is really fucking good. Battle. Dark Ritual. Dark Ritual. Entomb. Opponent has exactly 1 card left, so I get my blowout. Surgical Extraction. Target Grizzlebrand. 3 Grizzlebrands gone. I'm gonna take a... Ooh, my opponent has an Iona. That's scary. Take a quick snip here. Alright, cool. So there's Iona and Sarah's Emissary to worry about. My opponent has a bunch of Wear Tears, which aren't gonna do anything. So my opponent is on, 0 permanents, and we won our first match. Hot damn, we won versus Reanimator. That feels good. Today's video is sponsored by Moxfield.com. Moxfield is a deck building website for Magic the Gathering with a ton of functionality. And today I want to show you the tags. So a lot of times when you look at a deck list for, say, a commander deck list, you have some very large categories, but you might have some personal ways that you go and view these categories, like combo pieces, fast mana, humans, interaction, and you can actually sort these deck lists in a lot of ways. So consider checking out Moxfield if this appeals to you. Okay, I've got a weird looking opening hand here in that I don't have a great payoff card, but I've got like Auriok Champion into Vito after a Thoughtseize. I'm going to kind of count on the deck to do its thing and give me some reasonable cards and keep this hand. Like, generally speaking, the Soul Sisters archetype is aggressive. You're looking to play turn 1 life gain thing into turn 2 growy thing, and this doesn't have that. But this hand might be enough of a pain in the ass that it's worth keeping despite that. Okay. That's a weird looking hand that I have to parse. I don't really want my opponent to have active Welder. I also don't really want to lose Vito. The Lightning Bolt, though, after paying 3 mana for him. Heart check. Dude. Yeah, I think I'm most scared of the Welder. And I don't want to use 2 cards to Solitude a Welder, and I'm pretty far away from hard casting it. Alright. There's Burn. Fuck you! Come on! Come on! Alright. That's very inconvenient. So, probably always just going to fetch a basic Plains in case my opponent has some sort of Blood Moon effect. I'm always going to do this. Do I want to Solitude that creature? Yes, I think I do. This is a little aggressive. Always yes, always yield. I just don't want my opponent to have that active and like have the option of cheating on mana. I'm not worried about the Urza Saga construct tokens innately. Oh shit, Heliod. That's real good. I do lose a life here to play this. Urza Saga has 1 counter, so this attack is safe. And starting next turn, I'll hopefully try to do some gross things. Alright, there's a basic mountain. So I play Vito. Vito gets lightning bolted, that costs my opponent Lotus Petal. Or alternatively, I can give Auriok Champion lifelink. My opponent would have a 3/3. Only have a 2/2. I think I just want to play Vito this turn to use all of my mana well. And I'll just kind of count on Heliod to do cool Heliod stuff as this game goes on. Alright, gain a life. Opponent should respond. Oh, no, my opponent did not respond. I'm not... I could try to force the issue with Lightning Bolt and destroy my opponent's Lotus Petal. But I think a giant protection from removal Auriok Champion sounds really good. Alright. Save targets. Always yield. This is a 2/2. My opponent will have a 3/3. I'm not interested in the attack here. Alright, there's the token. So I could attempt to force removing the Lotus Petal right here. I don't hate it. But if I was going to do this, I guess I should have done this the first time. Oh, fuck. I guess I missed damage, right? So I missed damage because if I force the Lotus Petal... No, this thing's a 2/2 still. And the 2/2 could have traded with my creature, which I don't want. Are you going to get a Grindstone? Are you going to get a Pithing Needle and just shut off my lifelink ability on Ballista? What are we looking at here? A Retrofitter Foundry. I am good with you having Retrofitter Foundry. You may hit me for 5. That is okay. Dismiss this. Oh, that's gross. Which one of these do I want to play first? Probably the Soul's Attendant. Yeah. There's 4 Devotion. Keep these counters going here. And go Karlov. So triggers are gonna happen. I want to keep scaling up this. The Karlov just scales up faster. I'll leave Heliod back as a blocker, I guess. Keep scaling up Auriok Champion. Karlov's gonna scale up very easily, innately. Always yes. Always yield. I gain life. Karlov goes up to a 6/6. Having Karlov be a 7/7 does sound kind of good. I don't really need to attack this turn. I can just put more counters on Karlov and consider firing off Karlov's ability. Yeah, no attacks are fine. I'll just play defensive here. It feels like I pretty easily beat a couple of Urza Saga tokens, especially considering that if my opponent wants to use Retrofitter Foundry, they give me all the value. Ooh, a Shadow Spear. That's not bad. Yep. Ooh, 8/8. Yeah, I'll just take a couple of points of damage and then overwhelm my opponent on my turn. That seems fine. Oh shit! I just lost Indestructible with Shadow Spear. Oops. That's a thing that can happen. So I can attack in with Karlov. My opponent blocks. I just kill the other one of these. That seems fine. Let's draw a card with the... no, I don't want to do that. Alright, attack with Karlov. Fuck, I don't know what my fucking cards do. Just remove 6. Exile a creature. Alright, so those are apparently trading. I've played this game like absolute shit. Alright, let's draw a card here. That's not bad for the not too distant future. But I totally punted this game, I think. I'm going to take 7 here. My opponent's gaining that life back. Yeah, just missing this was incredibly tough for me. Now I don't have anything in play that is scaling up. Solitude. I can create a 4/4 immediately. Go up to 10 life. My opponent makes 2 artifacts. I'm still not dead to that. Trample's kind of annoying. I think I need this in play. Like, this can be a stopgap, like, if I just play the Solitude, but I don't really see myself easily winning the game if I don't do some more stuff here. Auriok Champion can attack. My opponent's got so much life. Yeah, I think I'm hoping to draw any white card or any land so that I can Solitude next turn. And then hopefully that goes somewhere meaningful. Like, I'll gain a lot of life as this game goes on. Okay, the 7/7 is coming in. I just have to take that. Opponent has another lightning bolt to finish me. They have another lightning bolt to finish me. They've got 1 card. Alright. Let's fetch. I'll get another scrub. But I should never need black. Let's just get another basic in case some sort of Blood Moon effect happens. Put Yorion into hand. I'm going to gain 2 life going to 4. Probably just chill. I can try to take some small attacks here. But I think it backfires some portion of the time. I would also like to create my Solitude in combat, so the Shadow Spear can't be re-equipped somewhere else. I am now out of Lightning Bolt range, at least for the time being. Alright, multiple creatures coming in. This is about to make a treasure, which will grow the Construct token. So my opponent can create 2 more artifacts at instant speed, which means that this thing can become a 9/9. I'm almost in the position where I can just make Ajani's Pridemate just objectively bigger. Not quite there right now. Still think I have to Solitude this. Alright, here we go. Triggers. Alright, remove your creature. Then a bunch of stuff happens that is pretty favorable for me, leaving me with a very large 8/8. Auriok Champion can take the block here. And I'm not going to say that I'm stabilized with 100% certainty, but things are looking good. I'm now gaining a lot of life. I am fine attacking with the 10/10. I don't think I can play Thoughtseize. Alright, get in there, bud. My opponent can lose the treasure token in order to make a chump blocker. I think my margins are tight enough right now that I don't play Thoughtseize. And I think basically any creature that I draw outside of exactly Solitude right now is incredibly strong. Beginning of combat on your turn, you may exile a creature card from your graveyard. If you do, make a token that's a copy, but it's a 4/4 zombie, and it gets haste. Okay, cool. I haven't seen any pieces of the Painter Servant combo deck. This, despite looking like Painter, this might actually be just like a mono-red mid-range deck. Okay. Odd Pharaoh's Gift could be in play next turn. Actually, it could be in play right now, right? Because they could copy their Goblin Welder, give it haste, put this thing into play. But 4/4? Sure. This game's gonna get fucking weird. Are we doing any attacks? We're not doing any attacks. This has got a color. It's black. Alright, Heliod is incredibly good here. Well, mostly. There are some issues. So this is going to enter as a creature, meaning that I do gain the life, get all my triggers and whatnot. Okay, they're gonna go ahead and do their creature nonsense right now, which is fine. This enters play. Iliad will just start putting counters on Auriok Champion, I think. And then I'll repeat that same process. Now that I am at 14, I think I am comfortable casting a Thoughtseize and taking whatever that last card is. Another God Pharaoh's Gift. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm chilling. I think this defensive war favors me. Yeah, I am no longer assuming that my opponent has Painter Servant combo in their deck. Alright, you get a Welder. Welder with haste happens. Let's start spreading the love a little bit. Now that that's a 6/6, I'll maybe start buffing this up. The Retrofitter Foundry here is the thing that's actually kind of secretly annoying, because that allows my opponent to block and sacrifice so that I don't actually gain life via a Heliod. So that's kind of a big deal. I'll point the triggers at the same place. Okay, like that triggers, they can get a Goblin Welder. Yep. Go ahead and buff this up. I'm just trying to get a bunch of things out of, like, I am going to easily die to Lightning Bolt range. Okay. Urza Saga is very good for my opponent. Alright, Shadow Spear is equipped to a Goblin Welder. But oh, I see, that's a token that stays. Sure. Let's do some stuff. Start scaling up the other one of these. And I think just pass the turn. While this Retrofitter mana is up, I can't do successful attacks that get lifelink. So, just kind of keeping that in mind. The 2 set of triggers going at this other one. Always yes. Always yield. Alright, that stuff's scaling up very well. Urza Saga ticks up. God Pharaoh's Gift triggers, but doesn't matter. I'm just gonna always yield to that. An artifact? No. Thoughtseize isn't great here. I could attack with 2 creatures and give them both lifelink. 7/7's not exactly super strong here. 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that's not exactly great. I think I'm just passing the turn. This is going to be a very long game. I'm not sure how exactly I am supposed to stack these counters. I also don't think I physically have the time to think about it too much. Like, if this game 1 is going this long, the game 2 and 3s are going to go this long as well. Alright, there's everything with the stack cleared. Which from here I'm going to do so I don't just narrate over a whole bunch of synonymous actions. So Urza Saga is going to tick up. My opponent will get another token. I've got some triggers. I'm going to stack up a second one of these for, like, lifelink based reasons and blocking Urza Saga based reasons. Alright, now in response, I'm going to give a couple of things lifelink for this turn, just in case my opponent is about to Pithing Needle me. There we go. Just getting a Lotus Petal. Yeah, that's all fine. Okay, Brea's Apprentice. That's okay with me. I believe next turn I can now attack in with 2 of my creatures and actually gain a ton of life. I think my opponent now can only gain, or can only sacrifice 1 creature at the same time. I could be wrong. Yeah, you can hit me for 1. That's fine. My opponent can sacrifice this Thopter. That does 1. My opponent could sacrifice the Lotus Petal, make a Brea, sacrifice a Brea. Oh, shit. I have at least 15 life more than my starting life total. Get fucked. This is disgusting. This is the hardest I win button I've ever seen from a Planeswalker. Boop. Battle. Okay, that was sick. And I fucked up that game really bad early on, too. Okay. Hockey is great. Serenity is great. Source of Plowshares, Rest in Peace, and Bitter Blossom all probably fall into the category of playable. I do not want Thoughtseize. I am good with most of the rest of the stuff in the deck, so this is going to become a question of, like, what is better or worse. Starting off my opponent's graveyard as a resource is cool. Bitter Blossom constantly giving me triggers is cool. I don't know that I actually want that. I think I'm in the position where these cards are good, but I'm not sure that I want to take anything out of my deck. I don't know that I want a 2-for-1 myself with Solitude. I might swap that for Swords to Plowshares. It just also makes my turn 3 better because it's more easy. It's easier for me to 2-drop plus do another thing. I don't know if I'm actually going to show off my opponent's graveyard. Like, it matters, but I think I'm hoping to power through that. I also need to be cognizant of the clock, and is fantastic. It doesn't have as many like life gain payoff cards as I might potentially want, but it has very good early plays of differing natures. I will just remove Welder immediately and not mess around with that thing getting active and my opponent just accidentally doing something that scares me. I potentially want Mother of Runes active before I play Kataki, which makes that turn ever so slightly awkward, but we shall see. Okay, yeah, so I'm going to be put in that exact position where I'm asked that question. With a Serenity around as follow-up, I'm fine playing Kataki here. I will go ahead and just get basics here. Alright, there is a Kataki. And I have no life gain synergies going yet, but I don't know that that actually matters, given how strong what I'm doing is. Alright, so my opponent has stacked the Thopter and found a Goblin Welder with Brea's ability. Oh, sorry, they have sacked Brea. Okay, both are going down. Kinda thought that was gonna go the other way. Okay, there is a Goblin Welder. Uh-huh. Sure. Alright, good stuff. I'll play Vito this turn. Vito's a little awkward if my opponent has Lightning Bolt here. 100% of the time, I'm fetching out Swamp this turn. I'm very certain of that. If my opponent has Lightning Bolt, this already would have gotten bolted, right? Let's just go ahead and play a Vito and pass the turn. There's a very niche thing that... Okay, never mind. There's a very niche thing that could come up where, like, I play a Heliod and my opponent has a Shadow Spear to remove Indestructible after a Serenity happens. That's another reason to play Vito out first. Oh, that's a land drop from my opponent. That's probably not what they are looking for. Oh, JK, it is what they are looking for. Fury's very good there. Yeah, I need to get some life gain stuff going. Serenity is not exactly fantastic here. I think I'm going to opt to use my mana efficiently. I need to get this Mother of Runes active so that that can help deal with Fury, and then I can go from there. If it looks like I'm going to lose this game, I do need to concede relatively quickly. Like, I'm not in immediate danger of timing out, but I cannot have another game like that first game happened and reasonably win. Oh geez, another Fury. That is pretty gross. Yeah, I might just die in 2 turns to attacks. Okay. I'm not taking as much damage as I possibly could here. Kind of feel like my opponent is supposed to just 2-turn me. I guess this is 2-turning me anyway. I don't think I'm winning this one. I'm going to save the few seconds of clock that I could by just conceding here. Like, I can play out Serenity these away, Skyclave this away, but my opponent's still left with 2 Furies. I have to chump block, and I don't think I'm winning from there. Now I know about Fury in particular. The card that matters a lot in the early game. I do kind of feel like I need some of this now. Solitudes are just so bad as pitch cards for me because I don't really have any card advantage. I just have like this life advantage. I think I'm going to resubmit as is. I'm considering cutting Vito or either Rest in Peace or something else like that. Yeah, this is fine. Not exciting, but it's fine. This is not my ideal, like, 1, 2, 3 curve. I'm also going to shut off this upkeep stop. I am incredibly cognizant of the amount of time that is going to take me to take the game actions that I need to take. Alright, sure. Okay, that is not what I am looking for in a draw. I'll attack for 1, and I'll play Verdant Catacombs so that I can have access to black mana. Good, I need it. Yeah, I wanted to play around a Blood Moon right here. That is a Brea's Apprentice. Let's go ahead and grab my Swamp right now. Always yield to that. For curve-based reasons, I'm just going to eliminate this now. I'll gain another life. Okay, Mox Opal is fine. Sure. Okay, a Mother of Runes is very good. I will not be playing that this turn for curve-based reasons, but very nice because it means... Well, actually, no, my Soul Warden can't attack this turn. This isn't going to enter as a creature. I don't gain the life. Bolt. Bolt. That bolt did not actually need to happen there. Got a Welder. Oh, we've got another Mox Opal. Elemental Frenzy. You can look at, you can play lands and cast spells from the top of your library. Okay, sure. First time I'm seeing a Goblin Engineer. I'm not surprised that it's in the deck, but that's my first time seeing one. God Pharaoh's Gift to the graveyard. And I'll take 1 damage. This is probably going to be another grind fest of a game. Let's grab yet another basic. Play a Mother of Runes. We'll play a Voice of the Blessed, assuming that I make it another turn around the table. I'm going to be in a pretty good position. A Fury here would be pretty gross. See what my opponent's capable of doing. It's essentially random. It's just whatever is on the top of their library. Like, they are allowed to do. Oh, that's annoying. That's how I was going to gain my life to get this going. Or they might stop Mother of Runes. That's a real choice. Okay, yeah, they are stopping the mom. That's totally reasonable. Place Silent Clearing. I think I want to crack that more than I want to give 2 creatures lifelink this turn. Alright, that's fine. I'll crash in with Voice of the Blessed here. No blocks for my opponent. I will give it lifelink. Alright, and we'll start this whole thing. I'm trying to scale up Voice of the Blessed as quickly as possible. Because once it's out of the range of Fury, I am in very, very, very good shape. Alright, my opponent is destroying their Experimental Frenzy. They have something in hand that they want to cast. Let's see what it is. It is a Fury. It is very unfortunate for me, since my opponent has a Pithing Needle in play. Oh, there's Shadowspear. So that niche line that I talked about before might actually come up and matter. Alright, Skyclave, Apparition. Let's get another basic land while I think about what I want to remove with that. If I do this, I think I have to remove Pithing Needle. Shadowspear is also kind of a problem, because Shadowspear, like, 8 power worth of double striking bullshit is really rough right now. Yeah, I actually think that is the bigger problem. Okay. This is now going to be tough to beat. The good news is that if the Fury attacks, I can activate the Heliod, gain some life, start scaling some stuff up. But the Shadowspear is a problem. That'll close the game very quickly. Yeah. All this damage is just happening. Okay, sure. I go to 10. Can gain some damage on the back swing. So there's an Auriok Champion, which helps a lot. Is another target creature? Another target creature. So let's send in with both of those after no blocks. Lifelink on Mother of Runes. Lifelink on Skyclave. Let's send these here. Always yield to those. And I'm working to get to the point where I can ignore the Fury. Not there immediately. Yeah. Is it indestructible? Yep. So the Fury can't attack as of next turn. Alright, cool. This is a grind. Another Experimental Frenzy, which is good since my opponent is currently top decking. Thinking about something. Okay. Soul's Attendant. Always yes. Always yield. Go counter on Auriok Champion. This attack is fine. This attack is fine. This attack is fine. I am about to gain so much life. Yeah, I think this is okay. I'll do 2 Heliod activations. 1 there. 1 there. Alright, I guess I'm not going to gain quite as much life as I thought. Now this one, probably spread the love a little bit. Go on Skyclave. Make the Fury slightly worse against me. Opponent doesn't have creatures in graveyard. I'm fine taking 8 from the Fury, that doesn't matter here. My opponent will go back up to 17. Ruin Grinder. Okay. My protection creature is probably pretty good here. Keep scaling that up. Okay, something else is happening. Okay, a Shadow Spear equip on that. Okay. Lifelink, Menace, Trample. This can attack in. I can gain 6 life. This combat math is too complicated for the situation that I'm currently in. I put Yorion to hand in this turn cycle and leave up 2 sets of lifelink. Oh fuck, maybe that was wrong. This thing could be welded out, getting rid of my Yorion. Actually, the Ruin Grinder getting welded out isn't that big of a deal, because my opponent can't play cards from their hand right now. Alright. This has Menace, so I do have to block with 2 things. Lifelink on both my creatures. Alright, my opponent is... Oh, this is a May. I will do that. That's very good. Right, they lose a Mox Opal in process. I F6 the remainder of this turn here. I assume my opponent has to destroy an Experimental Frenzy. Alright, a new Mox Opal. A Wormcoil Engine. Sure, that's kind of a pain. That's a colorless thing that I didn't really want to happen. I need to scale this up so that it... Oh shit, it's not going to survive the Death Touch though. Fuck. I do not have the necessary time to think about all of this shit. Let's start stacking up another creature. Always yes. Always yield. Second creature. Play Karlov. I'm going to put a shit ton of counters on Karlov. And then exile Wormcoil Engine. Alright, Karlov. Targets Wormcoil Engine, exiling it. Land drop. Seems like lethal or very close to it. Crash in. Okay. GG's. There were 100% better lines there, and better sequencing available. I was just so low on time to think. What an absolute grind fest of a match. It took almost an hour to record. Alright, this is round 3. I'm currently 2-0. I don't have enough mana here. Like, the hand's stacked, but, like, obviously the hand is going to be stacked if you don't have lands, right? Grudging keep, probably. I don't have anything to do on turn 2, and I don't think I can keep Solitude after having, Oh, I need to put this dot back. Anyway, I don't think I can keep Solitude after having mulliganed once already. That's a tough ask. Grab a basic here. And play out Soul's Attendant, which is potentially going to be good against whatever's happening on the other side of the battlefield over there. I don't have a turn 2 play. I have a lot of draws towards a good turn 2 play. Because any 1 or 2 drop vastly improves my hand. Alright, I need to always yield to that next turn. And, oop, there's more. I don't want to see Prismatic Ending on my Soul's Attendant here. Okay, but my opponent's sequencing was just objectively wrong, right? They should have sourced to Plowshares prior to playing Elvish Reclaimer, then I'm down 1 life. I whiffed on a reasonable play for this turn, which is not great. I'm going to go ahead and fetch out a basic and call it a turn. I do not want to just, like, tap my fetch lands for green mana. I want to play around Wasteland to the best of my ability this game, because like I am 100% sure Wasteland is in my opponent's deck. Okay, sure. Savannah. And Knight of the Reliquary, which is probably about to eat my Skyclave Apparition. Or, I guess, sorry, other way around. Skyclave is about to destroy that, because this thing is a 4/4 and can become large very, very, very quickly. Again, I think I am going to just continue to play around Wasteland completely. Just have tons of stuff to do with my mana. All these cards make white. Junk Knight. There's currently 2 lands in graveyard, so Elvish Reclaimer gets to attack through Skyclave Apparition a good portion of the time this turn, and probably 100% of the time next turn. You may bog me. You have my blessing to do so. Alright, we're chilling. If I play Heliod this turn, I can have 5 Devotion next turn. So that is what I am going to do. Although, doesn't accomplish a lot in the immediate future, and I'm definitely scared of Dark Depths combo just happening. I can't reasonably attack into a 3/4 Elvish Reclaimer here. Alright, Bojuka Bog goes bye-bye. Yep, there's the first half. I am at 16. 2 points of lifelink is not going to get me to above 20, unfortunately. So I suspect that this is the end for me. I can draw like a Source of Plowshares or a Solitude. That helps. I think this just beats me. I'm going to play out my cards as if I have Swords to Plowshares as my last card. I'm not quite there, and Heliod can't give itself lifelink, unfortunately. I will attack in with my indestructible 5/5. That's okay with me. Alright, there is a Dryad Arbor block. Just going to damage there. Trying to be as safe as possible because they know they just have the win at the end step. Alright, there's Flagstones. Search for a tap Savannah. There's the Dark Depths, and here's the requisite mana required to do the combo. Stage copies Depths. Keep the copy that has no counters on it. They get a 20/20. And unfortunately, this doesn't fly unless it has the +1/+1 counters, so I do have to concede here. I love the idea of Swords to Plowshares here. I like the idea of Rest in Peace, and Bitter Blossom is potentially good enough. Like, it's repeated chump blockers that fly for Merit Lodge, and it's very good chump blockers for, like, Knight. It triggers. Sorry. I don't know that I'm really into Thoughtseize for this matchup. I think this is going to be kind of like the last matchup where I want to build stuff on board. Karlov will be really good here. I don't know what the last cut is if I do play the Bitter Blossoms, which I do think I am supposed to do. Did Vito? Could be Vito. I'm trying to largely play mono white, and I've already boarded in 2 black cards. So this is a hand that's disruptive with a Solitude and a Skyclave Apparition, but I don't actually think this hand is good because I can't gain any life with it other than, like, can Solitude even target my own creatures? Yeah, it can, but that's probably not good. I'd rather mulligan this and find something that has, like, a 1/2 curve like this. Supposed to play Mother of Runes on turn 1, probably, to protect my stuff. Voice of the Blessed goes away? Kinda tough here. Because, like, playing the Mother of Runes is important, because, like, I know my opponent has, like, Source of Plowshares and Prismatic Ending sorts of cards. But I really want to curve this on turn 1 into this on turn 2, and, like, crash in for 4. Okay. So, some of the worst case scenarios can happen since my opponent does have 2 cards here. Like, they can Source of Plowshares this, and then, like, mana ramp again. Yeah, or do something like that. Not great for me. Going to opt to play 2 cards out this turn because it allows Karlov to scale up as much as possible next turn. Oh no. That's very good. I guess I have Caracas at least for right now. I've got that going for me. Always yield to that. I am also above 20. That's certainly a draw. This is an awkward turn because, like, I play this out and this is theoretically good, but then my opponent can just, like, find a Caracas and bounce this, and it's not anywhere near as good as I would like at that point. Like, I've got a 6/6, but this is not the threat I'm looking for. All right, we're chilling. There's a Marsh Flats. I need to leave Caracas up for Merit Lodge. I think this is okay, though. Grab a scrub land. I'm already wastelandable. Play Auriok Champion. Gets me a whole bunch of counters on Karlov. Up to a 10/10. And I'll try to crash in with it and see what happens. Alright, we are seeing what could be a chump block. The opponent can just turn one of their lands into Sajiri Step and protect this. Okay, they are opting to get a Flagstones here. And they will take no damage this turn. Okay, that is a Flagstones trigger off crop rotation. Finding a Plateau. And a Wasteland. So they may be still trying to work towards a combo finish. 2/3 mana. Going to 4 for Minsc and Boo? Minsc and Boo's not great versus active Caracas. That's the case. Alright. So, I'll float my mana. Fortunately, now I can't protect this from a removal spell, like so. Which is very much not good for me. Alright. That's not the end of the world. Guess I'm paying a life. Or no, I don't have to pay a life. I'll go ahead and just put a Yorion in my hand, call it a turn. Got Solitude up in case of emergency, but I need to draw a new threat. I imagine my opponent will turn Plateau into another Flagstones, unless they already have a portion of the combo in their hand. Seems like they do. Alright, and we're chilling. Iliad, Suncrowned, and then I can Solitude away a Merit Lodge. That is, I guess, fine with me. Yeah. All these go on the stack. I guess I will scale up the Auriok Champion. And always yes, always yield. Yeah, I'll scale this up as long as this is 4/4 or bigger. My attack in with it this turn is safe. Yeah. Alright, opponent takes the 4, going to 16. And they're just chilling. 2 mana, 3 mana, or a knight. Absolutely. I've got some triggers to talk about. Do I want to be able to attack with Auriok Champion? Probably. Let's scale that up a couple times, leaving me at a 7/7 when all of that shakes out. And Ajani's Pridemate as well. That is a metric shit ton of life. Alright. Tap that for green. Play this. Do the thing. Let's continue to stack this up on Auriok Champion. Yield to these. Yeah. 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 Okay. I probably just Solitude the Knight out of the way. Probably just Solitude the Knight out of the way. This also just gains me more life. Oh, holy triggers, Batman. Okay, alright, yeah. Opponent is done with me then. I don't think I'll be changing my sideboarding. That felt pretty good. I'm not exactly sure who has the inevitability here. I am going to keep this hand. It's a little weak, but it's improved greatly by any creature. Just literally any creature, I think, makes this hand very strong. That's a little bit annoying given how my opener here looks. Do I want to play removal on 1? Removal later? Probably removal later. Because anything that gives me life gets me closer to 35 life, which is the point where this just nukes my opponent's board. Alright, there's a Reclaimer. I'll gain some life. Oh, fucking attack, let's go. Nope, okay. They were not into it. So let's start by attempting to kill Elvish Reclaimer. And see how my opponent feels about that. They have let that go. I'll gain a life, and I'm absolutely just going to turbo send this in without even making it look like I'm thinking about it. I don't think my opponent can let that creature go. Okay, there is Dark Depths, so my opponent has a very quick Merit Lodge. Does this exile? Does exile. That's a good draw, right? A good draw. Not a great draw, but a good draw. So I can play Voice of the Blessed this turn and put 2 counters on it. I'll have a 4/4. It will be at 24. Can't attack here. Gain a lot of life, but my opponent is currently hitting in stacks of 20. Alright. So here is the Merit Lodge. Actually... Let's meet at 26. 26 isn't that far away from 35. What do you get in your next stage? You get Indestructible. If I can get 10 counters on you? That's a thing. I guess 10 counters on this is what I'm playing for? That's bad, though. That represents the Jury's Step next turn. Okay. Alright, is there any world in which I can get to 35 life and also play Ajani? No, I don't think so. I also don't think there's a world where I can deal 20 damage with this creature. Alright, so I guess I'm taking 20. Casually. As one does. I think this is one of those games where if the die roll was different, I win this one. Okay. If I play Auriok Champion, I can gain 2 life, making this a 10. 10. Might be able to bail my ass out of this with Swords to Plowshares. On my own creature to buy time to Ajani? Question mark, question mark, question mark. I'm so effing close here. Alright. Play Auriok Champion. Gain some life. Got a 10-10. Can go to 20, which is really 19. Fuck. I just, like, have lethal next turn, too. Damn it. Don't think I have outs from here. I am 2 points of life away from having an out. Swords to Plowshares in response here doesn't really do anything. The plateau. Oh, sorry, that's the first search. That makes more sense. Yeah, so I can Swords this in response. Force my opponent to sacrifice a land. I can go to 19. Fire it off. Opponent sacks to protect. Yeah. Then they've got it. I think it was correct to take out the Elvish Reclaimer earlier in the game. It just, like, sucks that my opponent top decked or already had the other portion of the Dark Depths combo in hand. Because, like, I just hope. Rude. I also think... Oh, right. No, that was actually necessary because of the Shroud. Shroud would have fizzled the ability, so my opponent did need that, and I die. Yeah, with 1 more life, I have this one. Or, sorry, with... Well, not have this one, but the game, like, goes on, and then this can potentially do some work. GG's. Alright, this is a 1-lander, so I think that is an auto-mulligan here. This hand's not good. Like, this hand has lands and spells, but absolutely no plan. I have no way to gain life. I can't afford to, like, really keep Solitude. Like, I can't pitch a card to it, and, like, I already have double Heliod here. So, like, I don't think this is a 6-card hand is winning a game of Magic. I think I'm going to go deeper and try to look for something with a more aggressive curve. This isn't it, but I'm not willing to go deeper than this. I will pitch a Solitude and a Skyclave and kind of hope that things work out from here. Alright, planes go. My opponent has mulligan to 5. If they're a combo deck, I don't have the required pressure to kill them before they can do their thing. Alright, it's Reanimator again. It's Reanimator again. I don't think we're going to be as lucky as we were last... Is that Sheoldred? Shit, yeah, I love it. Alright, unmask, target me. I would have taken the Solitude if I did keep it. Sheoldred main deck is an interesting choice. I'm not saying good or bad. It's legitimately interesting. Alright. Life's awful. I don't really think I win from here. I don't have Swords to Plowshares in the main deck, right? No, that's a 2 of in the sideboard. Yeah, no point in playing in Ajani's Pridemate. If I keep this in hand, I can at least have a card that I could pitch to a Solitude if I top deck one. But this is a 2-turn clock, so like I have exactly 1 draw step to hit the card that I need. Alright, I'm at 8. I know there is a Solitude on the bottom of my deck currently. This shuffle matters a lot. That will not do it. I will concede. Don't have great sideboard options. Well, we have okay sideboard options, but not a high enough density of them. Like Surgical Extraction and Rest in Peace are exactly the sorts of cards that I want, but, you know, having 4 relevant hate cards in my 80-card Yorion deck is not gonna cut it. I think I cut Skyclaves last time around, and then I think I cut these for being slow. Could play Bitter Blossom, but I think that also kind of has the slow problem. This doesn't win. One has kept a 7-card hand, which is horrifying. This is very aggressive. Am I going to mulligan to my 2 of Surgical Extraction? I don't think so. I think I'm just going to kind of keep this one and hope that my opponent doesn't have it all over there. I think if they have it all, I'm not going to win. Like, if their 7 has a discard spell and can go off, for example, mulliganing any further doesn't actually do any good. Alright, we're just gonna get turn 1. That's fine. There's an Archon, and an Animate dead. Alright, I will gain my life, yes. Sacrifice this. Throw away 1 creature. See what I draw. Not a removal spell. At which point, I think it's probably okay to just pack it in and move on. Alright, final round of this league. This opening hand doesn't really do anything. I'm going to go ahead and ship it. This hand also doesn't do anything. So do I want to keep the awkward 6-card hand that, like, just guaranteed has enough mana? Or do I want to mulligan to a risky 5? I think I'm going to keep the questionable hand and hope that it pans out. Because I do need a density of cards in order to kind of do my thing here. I'm about to get stifled. I don't want to get wastelanded, so I'm going to play around wasteland and get stifled instead. Ready? Here we go. Ah, it didn't happen. Gotta hype up those moments. Let's go Soul's Attendant. Has resolved. No turn 1 play at all from my opponent, not even an end-step Brainstorm or anything. Oh no, please don't be Doomsday. Like, I so don't beat combo decks. Actually, maybe I beat Doomsday. Like, if I open turn 1 LifeGain Idiot into turn 2 Get Big Idiot, that actually wins a decent portion of the time. I probably have a better chance of beating Doomsday than Storm. Okay. That probably tilts the needle back towards this being Storm. No valid play this turn, and really not a great play for next turn either. Next turn is play Naked Heliod. Crash in for 1. Opponent goes to 18. But yeah, drawing land into Skyclave is not what I was looking for. I was looking for any 1 or 2 drop in my deck. Oh shit, it's a control deck. So you're telling me there's a chance. Hell yeah. So this is a fair deck now. I know this. I think I just play Skyclave this turn. I haven't given my opponent something worth countering yet. I think Skyclave counts as something worth countering. I don't think I want to throw Heliod out there this turn. I want to see if my opponent wants to remove this. Like, I have 2 Skyclaves and 1 Heliod. If I'm going to lose one of these things, I want it to be a Skyclave. Force of Will, junking a Skyclave. Or sorry, junking a Force of Negation. Now on my next turn, play like Soul Warden into Skyclave. Or I can just like throw down the Heliod immediately. I've got options. I'm not worried about a Tarmogoyf killing me in the short to medium term. Uro is a little spooky. I guess no, I have active Caracas. That's fine. You can gain your life. Okay, cool. That's not bad either. All right. I don't want to play Heliod and another Soul Warden this turn. Let's see if this resolves. Nice. I can start scaling up my threats a little bit. Always yes. Always yield. Put a counter on this. Yield to that. Crash in for 2. Alright, opponent's at 18. I have an Uro covered. I am not threatened by the Tarmogoyf. I can play a Skyclave Apparition and turn on Heliod next turn, which is super cool. At 15. I don't have a great feel for what exactly my opponent has in hand, because I know they don't have lands. Beyond that, it's a little tough to tell. Probably no lands, it's probably not Counterspell. Heliod is like enough of a payoff card that I think you have to counter that if you have the Force. But I could be wrong. I also don't know whether or not I have to play around game 1 Plague Engineer. Like, that's a thing that I'm thinking about. Yes. So the first one of these I think is just going to go here. And let's always yield to that. These aren't attacking in now that Baleful Strix is there, so I'll just start putting these ones on Heliod. Alright, cool. Would I Solitude away a Baleful Strix? Crash in for like half my opponent's life total this turn? I think I'm down with that. In which case I don't actually like my counter placement on Heliod. But I didn't know I was going to get that next land. Alright, get Baleful Strix out of the way. Gain some life. Just go on Soul Wardens. Maybe it goes on Heliod, actually. If it goes on Heliod, it makes Toxic Deluge more costly to deal with. I guess I could have done the math on how much damage I'm actually dealing this turn. 12. Yeah, okay, so Heliod is out. The Heliod attack now puts my opponent out of Toxic Deluge range. Alright, they're down to 7. I have Skyclave to get a blocker out of the way. And bounce an Uro out of the way if that's a thing that I need to do. An Abrupt Decay is fine. My opponent now needs a Force of Will. If they don't have Force of Will, well, I guess they could just like remove another one of my creatures as well. Okay, sure, Brainstorm's fine. I think I'm pretty confident on this one as this game goes long. If I can't just aggro my opponent out in this turn cycle. Guess I'm fine playing this out. Cast Skyclave. Okay, there is Force of Will pitching Uro. That means my opponent can stay alive until next turn, at which point they will need another Force of Will. Or a basic here. Put Yorion to hand. In case this point isn't clear, the Yorion gives me the devotion pips necessary to turn Heliod into a creature. Okay, there's a land drop. Fatal Push is fine. I'm still on track to have the appropriate amount of devotion. My opponent's going to go to 8. I can be attacking for 8, but there's still a Tarmogoyf around. Is a bit of a pain. 1 mana short of where I want to be. I can play Yorion, blink Solitude, Solitude away, Tarmogoyf, bounce Uro. Kind of proceed forward like that. Probably fine. Alright, Yorion. I guess oh, I forgot about the counters. Well, no, it was a display thing. So if this is an 8/8, I don't actually need to bounce the Solitude. I can just bounce Uro and require the Tarmogoyf to chump block rather than giving my opponent extra life. That's just better. That actually means the Solitude can attack as well, as the Heliod chump block is required if I do that. Yep, okay. There's the required chump block. And this has lifelink. I'll go ahead and put this on Yorion so that Yorion is a lethal threat in the air for next turn. But I maybe should have just like played Voice of the Blessed and drawn a card with Silent Clearing. IDK. I think I'm going to be fine. Yeah, opponent agrees. Okay, I, in theory, like Bitter Blossom. I like Rest in Peace. Surgical's okay. Force of Plowshares is okay. I don't really like Thoughtseize. Let's get those out of the deck. Plague Engineer is going to be kind of annoying. Do I actually want Source of Plowshares if I have 4 Skyclaves and 4 Solitudes and Ajani already? I think I do still want them. What do I get rid of? I maybe just, like, trim a Mother of Runes, because, like, I have a lot of 1/1 humans. I think, in anticipation of how good Plague Engineer is against me, I'm going to trim a couple of Moms, even though I think they're totally good in the matchup. I think I just want to preemptively hedge against something that I'm very scared of. This is awkward. I don't have white. I don't have 3 lands. I don't have a playable source of life gain. I'm going to ship this one. No. Okay. On 5, I think I'm going to hope to draw a land and keep this hand. Yeah. And just keep this hand and hope that, like, I can do cool shit with a Bitter Blossom. But I just don't know that I can go to 4 versus a control deck that also has Tarmogoyfs that can just kind of pivot the game very quickly. Alright, no shuffle. Okay, I did hit a land drop. I am guaranteed to at least attempt to play Magic. I might just need to jam a Bitter Blossom on turn 2 and just kind of hope it works out. I really want this card to resolve, because, like, this is how I am going to win. But my other things aren't particularly good if played out early. So that's a thing. Bricks occurs. I'm going to Swords to Plowshares this, not because I think this is an important card to Swords to Plowshares, but because if I miss on land drops, my mana is spoken for the majority of the next few turns. Okay. I am going to begin by playing out the one of these that is legendary, in case I draw other copies later. Right now, these are unexciting 2/2s. I need some help from the top of my deck here. Ah, shit. Oh, it's an Uro. So, opponent probably doesn't have another land in hand. If they had another land in hand, they would have put Wasteland in second so they could Wasteland my Scrubland. Okay. Okay, cool. Another Scrubland's very nice. Let's see if I can hit in for my 2 points of damage. I succeed. The good news is the Uro is not coming back immediately. Let's attempt to Bitter Blossom now. I don't know that it resolves, but it's pretty nice if it does. Opponent doesn't have Fatal Push. About to lose a Scrubland. In theory, okay. Another Baleful Strix. Opponent may be unsure if they are going to Wasteland me yet. Yeah. They're tripping over their mana a little bit, right? Like, if we look at this mana base, it's trying to support this and this side by side while also supporting blue, blue, green, green in addition to the black cards. No shuffle. Alright, and I am going to lose the scrub. Alright. Bitter Blossom begins. I now need to find a card that gains me some life. Because this can scale up quickly, this can answer Uro very easily. My opponent has just conceded. Okay. Well, that's a very unsatisfying way to end this video. Like, I'll take it, but it doesn't feel good. We do end up with a 3-2 in that league, and I'm legitimately unsure if my opponent just, like, does not think that they can beat that Bitter Blossom, or if they just, like, had to go. I'm unsure. Overall thoughts on the deck list. Honestly, better than I expected. Like, I do think that if we continue to play that on one, I do think I end up beating that opponent. Maybe not that game, but I think that match. Um, this deck is pretty good. Not super consistent though. Um, things that I would have my eye on if I had the ability to play more matches with this. I would be keeping an eye on the land count. I don't know exactly what the land count should be for this deck, because you really need 3 mana every time, right? Because you want to be able to play 1-drop into 2-drop into 3-drop, or alternatively 1-drop into 2-drop into 2 of these cards in some scenarios. Like, you want to be able to do that every time, and you want to have some late game mana for like Yorion, Solitude, Ajani lines, but you don't actually want to have that many lands, right? Because every time you draw like a Soul Warden, a Soul's Attendant, something like that just helps you so much with scaling up all of your stuff. So I am uncertain what the land count should be for this deck. That's one thing that I have my eye on. As far as other stuff, I'm unsure how Solitude it is. Like, it's a card that I can pitch early to disrupt some stuff, but generally speaking, it's costly to pitch any of my white cards. Like, assuming that I have the ability to cast them, they have a very good impact on the game. So, since I don't have any way to get card advantage, like there's not, Dark Confidant in here, for example, or something like that, like, this is a little hard to do. It's super cool if you do get to the end game. Like, casting that for 5 mana feels good. Blinking with Yorion feels very good. But I'm unsure on that card. I'm also unsure whether or not the Thought Seizes belong in the deck in Game 1. Like, maybe you're supposed to just, like, completely give up on combo in Game 1 and play, like, Swords to Plowshares in the main board so that you can continue kind of being aggressive and buy the time you need to set up your engine. I also wouldn't say no to something that gives me card advantage of some nature. I'm not sure exactly what that is, though, because the things that I'm thinking of are all kind of slow. So, like, at 4 mana, you have, like, is it Ranger of Eos that goes and searches up 2 1-drops? Like, that's kind of attractive and is, like, a neat Yorion Blink target as well. But yeah, overall I have positive thoughts on this deck list, and it was very fun to play. We also had more game than I expected, and we ground through some absolute nonsense in this league. I would probably take the Angel's Grace out of the sideboard, though, for more graveyard hate, especially when playing online. Yeah, I think that's where I'm at. Anyway, folks, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please click the like button. It helps out a lot. If you have a sweet deck that you want to see on the channel or you want to try this one out, all that information is available in the video description. See ya!